You are greedy. I will guarantee it and prove it. I don't care if you're a saint. You have greed in your body. I did a video just 10 minutes ago and I didn't like it at all. And it was on the full moon. And it was on the magic of the full moon, or the magic to do on the full moon. And I'm thinking, man, there's some interesting teachings here, but I don't like it. I'm a little too excited. I'm a little too self-reflective. I'm a little too everything. Greedy. Your greed will contradict your good form every time. It will ruin it. I like to associate greed with impatience because I think they work hand in hand. But your greed, your narcissistic desire, will always undermine your ability to get something done effectively in the proper way. It's when you cheat, you take a shortcut, you unground just so you can get an edge. It will undermine your good form every single time. This is a lesson I learned in circus and nowhere else. I have not learned this lesson, not like I did there. Yogis try to communicate this, but they're not really good or gifted. Mostly because in the circus, it's highly competitive. And if you cheat the work, if you cheat your muscles out of learning the proper form, you'll never advance. So you're stuck. You're literally stuck until you learn the proper form. You're literally stuck until you learn how to do a pull-up correctly. You're literally stuck. You can't leverage. You can't use your momentum. You're stuck until you learn the lesson correctly. Kind of like Uma Thurman's character in Kill Bill. Breaking the board till her hands bleed. Where you don't have an inch and you have to do something anyway. This is why I say most of you run around the planet with your heads cut off, like chickens. Crazy. Thinking you're getting somewhere, and you're really going nowhere. You're just running around in circles. You'll feel the spinning in your head. I'm running around in circles, I'm running around in circles, and you won't even pay attention to that energy. Like, are you actually making progress? Or are you just getting from point A to point B? But your point B just goes right back to point A. Did I make my point? There is no getting off this train. ever. This is the infinity train. Too much. This is too dark for all of you guys. You want something exciting, like a way out, an escape from where you currently are. Instead of learning how to embrace where you currently are, say, I fold, God. I'm going to stop fighting you. And then I'll open up. And I'll just start to behave. I'll start good form. And I say this in the non-strictest of capacities. I'm not that dogmatic. A lot of the time when you say, I give up, you stop fighting the higher power. What opens up is a giant cavity in your body of repressed emotion and energy. And it can be filled with light. And it's almost like a part of you was filled. A void was filled. And then you don't even need to do what you were doing. And you realize that what you wanted to do was just vanity or an impulse. A distraction. So this begs the question for everything. What's my intention even doing this class? Well, I want to learn magic. I want to learn self-discovery. I want to experience it. Develop a sense of self-mastery. Learn how to conquer this planet before this planet conquers me. And I can't do that with poor form. A path of mystical arts is nothing less than painful, tedious, harsh, torturous. You always see somebody who's able to do something that you can't. You always feel a void, a lack, and then the desire to be able to do it. And then the question is, how do I do it where it's not vanity or shit? How do I acquire skill? And I really like the quote in Avatar: The Last Airbender from the Firebender, the enlightened one. The crazy, renunciate, enlightened firebender. To master the discipline of fire, you have to master the discipline of discipline itself. And I live by that. Discipline will show up in Malkuth Usually it's a wake-up call to where you're not disciplined, where you're not in good form, where you're not grounded, where you're not mindful. Every thought, every inch, every whim, it will show up. It always does. And it's okay if you're not perfect. You'll never be perfect, but maybe you can be good enough. At least for today. And then maybe you can be good enough tomorrow. And it will be just a little bit better. Maybe the bar raises a little bit every day, inch by inch, clawing your way out. So the magic that I wanted to talk about from that other video was about me cleaning the floors. And it sounds really mundane and boring to you guys. But it seems more appropriate now that it's placed in context. Because what you think of as mundane, I think of as pure magic. And the way I approach washing my floors for an initiation, to me, determines the outcome of the initiation. And to you guys, it's just a chore. To you guys, it's nothing. It's meaningless. And all I think is you guys are just meaningless. Because you can't put meaning into mundane activity. That I prep my space with impeccability and love and gratitude and magic before I even begin the actual initiation. It's an old art. It's lost on this generation. My generation's horrible. They don't know about good form in any sense of the word or phrase. My mother folds corners of beds like a nun, like a Catholic nun, military corners, medicine corners style, and she's nothing compared to what her mother was. Good form in the physical world is lost. If I know my mother taught me anything, it's how to clean correctly. So I did it yesterday, the day before the full moon. That's bad form, but at least it was good form, good enough. Because it was at least the day before the full moon. And maybe in Yesod it will get even sooner. But I take my bucket and I fill it with my love water, my love and gratitude water from a sink that I've already gridded, from a faucet that I've put energy through. You guys think of Reikiing a crystal as special? Reiki everything. Have an intention on everything. And I put that water into that bucket, a red bucket for the root chakra. And I squeeze in my special soap. in the shape of a dragon egg, and I weave 3 strands of DNA into that dragon egg with my special 17 pounds of magic soap that I use specifically for initiations. It's punny because light language, shape number 17, is the initiator. And then I pour the salt in the shape of the dragon egg with the DNA. And then I chop a lemon in half. And I take the lemon halves and I squeeze all the juice into the water. It brings magical clarity, cleansing protection. And then I put that lemon, those halves, into the water, into the bucket. And then I take that lavender oil and I put 5 drops of that lavender oil. And then I imagine a pentagram lighten up into that water. And then I take my Malkuth oil, the sandalwood oil, and I put 1 drop. And I can literally feel the dimensions collapsing as God puts weight into that drop of oil. Like, boom! And then I wash the floors. But keep in mind, that's the secondary part of the cleaning. The first part is me vacuuming everything. I take that vacuum, like with the wand, the vacuum wand, and I vacuum everything. The floors, the corners, and all I'm vacuuming up is Muggle DNA. Like, I will vacuum up all the Muggle DNA in my body, in my boyfriend's body, in the other people's bodies, in the home, everything. No Muggle DNA allowed in this home. And if you think about it, real witches don't want Muggles in their home. They will go Repello Muggletim on everything in their home. Even in Harry Potter, they didn't invite the Muggles to their home. Ever. Ever. So if you think you're living with a Muggle, just go Repello Muggletim on them. And believe me, if they like you, even a little bit, they'll be like, you can crucify me until I become a witch or a wizard. You can purify the Muggle out of me and force them to transmute, or they will go away. And believe me, you want some witches and wizards, magic people in your home. It makes your temple stronger and more solid. So your vats filled for like every speck, every piece of dirt. I'm vacuuming up a piece of the Muggle DNA still in my body. For every strand of hair, an ounce of stuff on the floor, vacuuming up till I become a witch. Replaced with an ounce of witch. For every pound of dust I pick up is a pound of Muggle DNA coming out of my body and I'm replacing it with a pound of witch. Pound of magic. Magical cleaning time. There are 2 parts of the Harry Potter book 5 that they took out, raped it, and then created a movie. One was the magical cleaning chapters, and 2 was the horrific ending where there was like actual emotional depth coming from Harry as he attacks Dumbledore. It's the best scene in the whole book. And the magical cleaning isn't bad either. Point made is that magical cleaning has been a part of fairy tradition and old magic and definitely our Mayan lineage for centuries. I don't know how long it's been with the Mayan magic, but decades. This is not a new concept. Indian ashrams have been running off of this forever. Just to think. Magical cleaning is magical grid setting. So your thoughts go into the stuff and start acknowledging spaces in the room, and your consciousness awakens every crack in the floor, every grain in the wood. And it's a reflection on you, too. When I clean the wood, I'm being blessed by the trees. When I clean my mirrors, I'm able to see my mirrors more clearly. When I clean my kitchen, I put extra love into the kitchen because that's the creative, where all the creative juices start flowing. And when I get greedy and impatient, and I think of all the other things I have to do, I lose my good form. If I think about how much I resent cleaning, instead of surrender to the beauty of it, the art of it, the zen of it, the magic of it, I get lost, like it's a daydream, and the world falls away, and everything in my body shifts. Everything. These are prayers, intentions, designs to put into something much bigger and greater. When I see the colors in the carpet as I'm vacuuming it, I get the download for what that color is and why it's there on that carpet. And then I start to see the designs in the carpet that start moving like little fairies. Some of you will look at wood and you'll see the faces in the wood move and maneuver and change, and sometimes it will speak to you. This is when the matrix comes alive and you tap into the real world instead of the fixed world. Star's got all of these wood devas in her furniture. When I would sleep in her bed when she was away, they would come alive and talk to me. It was really creepy, but fun and magical. When you build a temple and you have, like, heaven forbid, you're building with real wood floor, but even worse, It's not seeing every single face or design or intention that comes through in every strip of wood as you set that wood panel down. I spent days staying up all night and all day drawing and writing the intentions down on the back of each panel before it was laid into a temple. Sacred intentions. Can you even imagine doing that with that and the tiling and the paint and everything else you would do? I think I just redid my temple video. This class should be it. When you build your temple correctly and take care of your temple correctly, it will show up. It will show up here and here and here. You want to talk about building a mind palace? Do it for real. Or do you think it's just stupid and mundane, so you're going to do something else? Grasping for straws of magic that will never come because you didn't even learn how to build your temple to begin with. You didn't even learn how to vacuum the basement. You didn't even learn how to replant the pots outside. You didn't even learn how to take care of this body. So why would God give you anything more? You didn't even learn these lessons. Why do you think you get to graduate onto bigger, better things? Your body is your temple. Your home is your temple. Why do you think you deserve anything more? Not even picking up the litter outside of your home. Not even taking care of your clothes or your kids' space. This is everything. Your root chakra is it's the earth for you to root into. Literally. Your brain will root into it. Your body will root into it. Everything. The etheric waves will root into it. And it's so much easier when you've already gritted it to death. So as I washed, I'm like, I'm getting rid of everything that is not magical DNA. Everything. I even did the bathtub, the tiles up toward the ceiling. I did my altar. Everything with my special magic fluid. And then I put it away. Down the drain of the death tub. I say this because all my baths are death baths. And I always imagine myself going into the bathtub like I'm there to die. And that mommy star is putting a death grid into the bath so that I can mutate my body into something more magical. And I imagine black goo from the universe coming in and killing me. It's a death bath. And then I get out of the bath and I'm reborn. I can only imagine what would happen if I actually died in the bath, and I'd go, at least I died peacefully. It's a cleansing. It's an opening of all the pores and spaces in my body so that energy can move through it. So on the new moon, the spiders came out. The magic spiders came out. Etheric ones, but they're strong enough as they are. And you can see them going from corner to corner, weaving etheric grids, etheric intranet grids, webs of magic into the home. Spider witch. Like, I will weave some new magic DNA into this home. That's what spider witch means. Spider vampire, not the same. Like, I will create with a web something new to plug into, to tap into, to wrap my brain into. I will weave something new into reality. With the energy of my sacral chakra, the ether, or God's sacral goddess's sacral chakra, spider witches. And so all that came through. And you could see it on the altar, in the doorways. Psychics would be able to see it real easy. And it just goes around and around. And then I looked psychically at Star's dome, and her dome is filled with it. Filled to the brim with the spider weaves. And I go, of course, that dome is literally there to make people magical. To cure them of cancer. To open them up. And it looks like a dragon egg. The top of it, and then the bottom of it is below the Earth's surface. Of course, Star's place looks like a spider weave dome. What do you think this is? It's work. All right, so after the spider weave goes through, then you go, oh, I'm done. But you're not. You have to seal your corners where every space is open. This is not the metal braids. This is like a film that looks like bathroom plastic tubing. And I want to say bathroom plasmic tubing. Toothing, is that the right word? I don't know. But it's like you put your finger around everything and then seal it with a plasmic goo. And then do it around the sockets and plug it up. You can do it on the light fixtures and plug them up. And you do it at the windows and plug it up. And every time you do that in your brain, it starts to add the energy there. It's a goo. It's a gel. It's a physical, etheric substance. Think of it as a physical substance and it will begin to manifest like it's a physical substance. Give it gravity and it will create gravity. Think that it's just etheric and it will stay just etheric. Until in your brain you go, oh, maybe it should be physical. And then you seal up your place. The cracks in the ceiling, the cracks in the floor. Now, when you build your temple, if you're going to build your temple, this is something to be reminded of. Even changing your paint on the walls. Everything has a purpose. Every color has a purpose. Every stroke of your hand has a purpose. So when you're sanding your walls down, you're sanding away old crap, old DNA, old layers of your aura that just no longer serve you. And you hand do it. Even if it takes 5 extra days. You do it the hard way, or you will learn the hard way. Every single time you cheat, you shortcut, you're cheating yourself. Every time. I don't care what you think you know about how to make it go faster or cheaper or easier. Every single time you cheat on your temple, you're cheating yourself. Every time. The point is this. You are so greedy, you can't get everything done that you want done the right way. You can't and you won't. And that's how you know you have greed in you. Your greed is a vice, not a virtue. The only way to have your cake and eat it too is to first build your cake correctly. Sounds like some old lady wisdom advice. There's nothing like watching Paul Hollywood and Mary Berry break down recipes after watching a bunch of beginners flounder. And they make it look so easy and so simple. And I go, oh, that's right. Mastery is knowing how to do things simply, correctly, with good form, and zero drama. So as you build your temple, every stroke of the paint with a small roller instead of a big one, because the big roller splatters everything everywhere. And the smaller rollers are not messy. Every time you stroke that paint up and down, you have a prayer for up and a prayer for down. And you spin the roller and you stir the grid into the paint before you even begin. And you write an entire story about what you're going to create with that temple before day one. And every color is there for a reason. Even if you paint over it with another color. And you prime it too. And you definitely deal with the, what do you call them? The baseboards. You either have them taken off or you find a way to sand and clean and paint them. And you fix the light fixtures. And you find a way to do everything as green and non-toxic as possible. And then you can have a magical palace. But not before then. If you can't even put a prayer in every stone on your wall, you don't deserve anything. Kali Ren out.